Hi, so I'm going to be reviewing the 2022 Bronco Black Diamond Edition, and as an overlander, can the Bronco work as an overland vehicle? And we drove it all the way up from Vancouver, BC to the Arctic Circle and beyond to the Arctic Ocean and Tuktoyaktuk. So a lot of off-road gravel and pavement, a lot of kilometers or miles, and also towing. We can give you our experience towing. I've got the Taxa outdoor Cricket, which is about 2,000 pounds, so well under the 3,500 pound limit, although we have extra gear, of course, that can add up on the Bronco. So I'm going to be reviewing how does the Bronco do after 1 year of ownership. Bought it in 2022, so ordered it in January. It arrived in early September, about 7 months, which wasn't bad given the way things took, the time they took during COVID and supply chains and the high demand on the Broncos. So I was quite pleased with that. Had it through a winter in minus 35, and then this over 7,000 kilometer trip return so far to through northern British Columbia, the Yukon, and Northwest Territories in Canada to the Arctic Ocean. And not yet done, but I thought I'd give a 1 year review and overlanding. So diving right in, the 22, the Bronco Black Diamond Edition is the off-road edition that is not the full Badlands package. So it's only missing a few things, like the disconnecting sway bar, which I'm not really rock crawling, and you can only get the mid-range package on the inside, but it does come with the off-road tires, all-terrain tires. These are General Grabber tires. They've done quite well. They're even stud ready. They do pick up a lot of rocks though and throw them, which is an issue, and I'll show you one of the accessories there that I think is essential to help deal with that. It also comes with the drain plugs in the floor, so you can wash it out, with the marine vinyl seats, so you can pretty much wash out the interior, which is really durable. And I actually am very happy with it. I also didn't get the Badlands, or sorry, the Sasquatch package, which comes with bigger tires and front and rear lockers. This just has rear lockers, but I didn't need the big tires. Number one, I really like the look of this. They're very functional, probably a little less road noise and better fuel efficiency, but also still rugged. I felt just right, and it also fits in our parkade easier. We live in a city parkade now where we store it, so walking by it is easier than if you get extra wide tires. And similarly, the choice of the Taxa Outdoors Cricket has been, to me, a perfect companion to us for the long overland trips to tow. It's small, it's not obnoxious, it gets us into the tight, beautiful places, nooks and crannies and beaches and forest coves that we want to get into. It's pretty light to tow. It's under 2,000 pounds dry, and it has a pop-up top, so you can stand up in it. It's aluminum sides, keeps you dry, keeps the bears away. And places we were going, there are lots of black bears and grizzlies that we've seen, so it's a little extra comfort having the aluminum side walls, and to keep you warm as well. And with the pop-up, you can stand up and cook and spend time in there if you need to change, etc. Compared with some of the smaller unit trailers that people use in overlanding, that are very functional, very cool as well. But this allows you to be a little bit more protected inside. And also, we're doing a lot of gravel roads and muddy roads sometimes, which the Dempster Highway in northern Canada, it's a couple thousand kilometers return trip, and if it rains, it cakes the entire thing in mud. If you have a pop-up tent on the back or something to be aware of, or your outdoor stuff, this gets slimy too, but at least you can still get inside where it's clean. And it fits within our parkade, another parking spot. We didn't need to outsource a parking spot for it at home. It fits in an underground parkade, a 7-foot limit, all the way right from the top when it's closed. So it's really ideal for those who are looking to save space. So I don't think I would do anything different as a choice for us. It's perfect. It's not as rugged as some of the off-door ones. You can get a safari package, but that raises the height. It would have been too tall for us. It does bounce and take a bit of a beating on those roads, and you can see some lots of rock chips. Even with, I was able to get the extra mud guards or rock guards. Now, interestingly, I think these are essential not only for the trailer, but even, as you know, for spreading mud on the vehicle. These tires tend to throw rocks which could chip the paint, and as many people have reported, these fender flares can actually get caked up with dirt or road ice in the winter with ice, and it can even make it difficult to open this door. So hopefully having these mud flaps helps. Now, even Ford's mud flaps didn't fit this edition because of the rock rails that come with it. I had to get special ones. So there's a company, I think it's called Moseley, I can put it in the comments, that made some nice ones. They're plastic, not rubber, but they do help a lot, and they're easy to remove just with thumb screws if you don't like them on all the time. But they even took a beating. You can see the other back one broke off bits at the bottom. But even with that, to protect your trailer, I even put duct tape along the way to hang down even further to try and prevent some of the rocks from flying up onto the trailer. But those, I think, are essential for overlanding, and maybe for other people who want to protect their paint or towing a trailer. Other from the front accessories which we've had, maybe not essential but very nice for self-rescue, is the winch. And again, the Black Diamond Edition comes with the capable but not the modular bumper, so it's not winch ready. Thankfully there's a company, and it was very hard to find, there's only one at the time, RC Off-Road made a bracket that allowed for a winch that fits with this particular bumper. So we were able to get the RFX winch with nylon cord from our North Shore Off-Road in Vancouver, which has done a lot of the accessories for us, and that's worked really well. Already pulled us out of the ditch in the winter once. And then moving back, lighting. I think lighting's essential. They do have excellent LED lights on this version. However, we were coming up very quickly, found ourselves in the middle of wildlife, cows and horses on the road in twilight on these distant roads, and can be quite dangerous. So we actually got these ditch lights, which have been fantastic. They mount nicely, they're very subtle. They throw a ton of light out the side, which means you can see the animals better. It's also good for game viewing, as well as the spotlight, which mounts on the rack at the top. Which brings us to the rack, which I think is essential for overlanding. We like to bring our toys like kayaks, canoes. In this case, we brought an inflatable raft to do some of the rivers. We're running with salmon and bears, and store some extra gear up there. So we ended up going with the Gobi rack, which I really like. I've always liked the exoskeleton type racks. I think they look great on Jeeps and other vehicles. And given the soft top, it's really one of the few options that is really robust to carry a lot of gear. And it performed phenomenally well. Nothing came loose. It's been very strong. It does lift all the way back if you want, so you can still open the soft top. Definitely takes more time than not having the rack on, where at a stoplight you can just decide to throw the top back. You can't do that. Takes a bit more time, but with bugs and weather and so on, we find overlanding and we have it closed most of the time. Anyway, the soft top on the Bronco does make for more noise, and with the roof rack some more wind noise. Probably one of our biggest criticisms. I have owned, our other vehicle is an LX 470, beautiful luxury rugged off-road vehicle for overlanding, much quieter, but this has been very comfortable, but the road noise is a bit higher, and we've had to do various things with straps, and you might consider getting a hard top or with some sound deadening, or there's other tricks online they've seen people have done to help with some of the sound deadening as well, which might be an issue, but soft top's pretty fun as well, so it's really a choice there. Moving back, of course, we have the tow package. because we need to be able to tow the trailer, but even if we didn't, we put a bike rack on there so you can carry both things on the top and your bikes conveniently on the back. In this case, because we're towing the trailer, our bike rack is the jacket, which is just a bike rack that mounts on the trailer, and it can actually carry up to 2 bikes. We had 2 bikes on it, but the space in here gets quite tight, especially with this spare tire mounted on the back. So one of the things we've had to do is make sure we get exactly the right length of tow hitch and height, because that can become too close. There's really not enough space for turning back here, and if it's too long, it just puts too much stress weighing down. And you can see this vehicle already sits loaded up a bit low on the back end because of the weight, and we think the extra stress, if you have a longer trailer hitch, that made it worse. So we actually moved one of the bikes off, shortened it up, and that was a lot better, and it still was able to turn in some tight spaces for that. So the other thing I like about this rack and the Bronco is it's easy to get up and load things. So you can put a foot on the tire. They've got some great tire foot mounts on the bumper, and then we've got both the side rails, side ladders on the Gobi. So it's really quite convenient for getting things up and on top of the vehicle. So that's really worked well. We've been able to bring our toys with us, and of course the Taxa Cricket also has a rack, and we have another inflatable kayak up there. You can't put a rooftop tent on this one because it's slanted, but you could put bikes, and we did put a spare tire which we needed to change on the trip from the trailer on top. But Taxa does a great job at design things like these side benches which you can sit on to change, to take off your waders or your wet gear, or set your martinis, however it is you want to use that. It's really great. You can also use them. One of the things you need to consider in remote travel is carrying extra fuel, and up on the Dempster Highway there is fuel stations enough to reach, barely, but can be closed after hours, or if you do a side trip you need to have extra fuel. So that's a nice way to strap it on the outside. It doesn't get all your gear smelly, there's no risk of that, and that actually sat there, traveled really well for a long bumpy roads, thousands of kilometers, and that's really served us well. And everyone should consider bringing, of course, their dog, especially if you've got a husky and you're going to the Arctic. Makes them very happy. The other thing, accessory we have, thinking about the dog, is of course protector that you can do for the dog, so he gets the whole back seat, which is really comfortable for him. By the way, I did sleep. I went out to see some bears on my own without the dog and my partner, and I was able to put these seats down with a mattress and sleep quite comfortably in the back of the cars. And since I was bear viewing, I wanted to be safe inside the vehicle, so you can actually sleep inside the Bronco if you need to, which is really convenient. And I'm just about 6 feet tall, so I was able to stretch out and sleep very comfortably in there. The other accessory we have under the hood, which I won't show you, is we did get the air compressor mounted. It's fantastic there because you don't forget it. It doesn't take up space elsewhere, and it's good for airing up and down your tires for off-road to get just the right ride. But it also, of course, on long overlanding trips, it's not uncommon to have tire issues. We had one tire, had to replace the spare actually, and having a built-in air compressor is really helpful for that. So another accessory I think we were very happy to have. So at the end of the day, the question you may have is the Bronco an adequate overland vehicle? And this is coming from someone who's had Land Cruisers in Africa. I had a Nissan Patrol we've towed some trailers before, and have an LX 470, which is one of the most epic overlander vehicles I think out there. And this Bronco has been a lot of fun, served us well, got us to the Arctic Ocean to take a swim something I think every Canadian should do. It's a big part of our country that many people don't get to see, and I would do that again in the Bronco for sure. And the Cricket as well performed very, very well, taking it all the way up to the Arctic and back. So if you have any questions, comments, I might do a more in-depth review on various components. We can talk a lot more about the Cricket on the inside and its overall functionality. I hope this is helpful for you all. I found YouTube videos very helpful when I was doing my research. And take care and fun travels.